Hey my friend, Will here over at Pips and Gains, and finally back again doing some weekly trade setups and analysts video. It's been a couple of months since my last one, and hopefully now after I've recovered from my eye injury and my knee injury, I'm able to come back and start doing these videos weekly for you. So today we're going to be looking at my favorite setups for the week ahead, and I'm going to be showing you exactly how I look at the markets and why I think these pairs, these setups will do what I expect them to do in the week ahead. So let's get into the good stuff, into the charts. So for that, if you are new to the channel and you haven't yet subscribed yet, simply hit the subscribe button now. So let's get into the video. So going to be looking at two of my favorite setups for the week ahead. They're both on the JPY cross pairs. The first one is the USDJPY. So these pairs, the yen kind of collapsed on Friday. We saw some huge moves up, and we are now at some key resistance areas on the higher time frame charts, and most importantly, we are considerably overbought across all time frames on the RSI and the stochastic, and I'll show you my volatility dashboard in a minute, how I'm able to tell this across all time frames instantly. So we broke out, USDJPY broke out of 152. And if we look at the charts here in the monthly charts, once it actually broke out of this resistance, there's nothing really stopping it moving up to the next level, which is kind of what happened. Which is what is happening. We're now approaching this 160 area here, and I'm fully expecting some sort of selling pressure coming in here early next week. We may even get intervention from the Japanese authorities. They have been kind of hinting at it, but action is another thing. But this is a very disorderly move, as I call it, on Friday. So we're approaching the 160 level. If we look at the weekly charts, in this parabolic move up, again, once it broke out at 152, it's just there's no real stopping it. The next considerable level is the 160 area. So what I'm looking to see happen here, just looking at the monthly or the weekly charts, we have this newly created buy zone, demand zone here. Just let me get a drink of water. And this key resistance here. If we look at my volatility dashboard, so this dashboard shows me the values across the RSI, across all time frames, and the stochastic. So this is the stochastic. It shows me the readings across all time frames. You can see we are at basically the 100 level across all the higher time frames. Now when I see something like this happening, this is indicating that reversal sell setup in this instance is imminent and will happen very soon, especially when the higher time frames are correlating with the lower time frames, all the way down to the 30-minute time frame. And another thing that's hinting to me that we'll get a sell-off early next week is basically normally when you see moves like this on a Friday, where the market moves up a couple of percent, normally the following week it is sold off pretty heavily, so I tend to fade these moves to the downside. If we look at the RSI dashboard, we can see that across all the lower time frames, right up to the daily and the 4-hour, heavily overbought. And when you get into these kind of values in the RSI and the stochastic, it is kind of indicating, and especially when they're all lining up with the lower time frames, it is indicating that a sell setup reversal is on the cards. So how am I going to play this setup? Basically, I'm going to see how the market opens up on Monday. So I'm going to just add my TRFX indicator. So I'm going to see how this opens up on Monday morning, because we could get a gap up. If we look at the daily charts here, we may get a gap up to test the 160. This, I think it's a 40-year high. Like if it goes up above 160, well, kind of goes up towards 160 or above it, you're talking near. It hasn't been that high since 1989 or something like that, which is insane. So we are right outside the outer band. Normally when you see a move like this goes outside the outer bands on my TR, on the indicator, it is an indication that a sell setup is on the cards. An example. See an example down here. We have this huge parabolic move up and then sells off as it goes outside the outer bands, the daily charts. So another indication to me. I'm going to say how it opens up, but the markets open up. The likely path for this next week, we may get a pop up towards 160, and then this should sell off down towards the previous resistance at 152, and then it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. We look at the weekly. Let's move out to the weekly charts. It's going to be really, really interesting next week to see if there is actually any intervention from the Japanese authorities. Now there was a spike down on Friday, and I've looked a bit more into this. You can see this. Spike on Friday here, so this candle here, and apparently that was a rate check, which is basically the last stage before the actual BOJ intervene into the markets by selling US dollar and buying Japanese yen. So apparently this was a rate check, and that's why the markets dropped down 200 pips in like 5 minutes. But again, it was heavily bought back up again. So it's going to be interesting to see what they actually do next week. Because in my opinion, if they don't do anything, this pair could go parabolic and just break 160 pretty easily. But again, I do expect some sort of resistance coming in at 160. If buyers are looking to take the market above 160, then just given the considerably overbought conditions across the RSI and the stochastic, then I would expect the market to start to sell off here, slowly make its way down. The faster the move, then the higher it's highly likely we'll get a reaction at the 152 level. It could go a little bit deeper down towards the 148, which is the newly created buy demand area here. So I'll be looking to sell this early Monday morning. I'll be starting to build into a sell position. Stop loss will be well above the resistance, maybe around 162. Target will be 152, or even maybe as low as 151, just the previous resistance. If you look at the weekly charts, this has been moving up, just so you kind of know what I'm talking about here. As this trend has been moving up, the 125 was a key resistance here, and as the market broke up through it, it comes back down to test it. And this kind of happens all the way on the way up here. We had, once it broke out of this 100 resistance, market finds support, comes back down to test it, and then rallies back up, breaks out of this key resistance area here, comes back down and tests it, actually tests this resistance at 102, move down, and now we've got this test of the 160. So if it is going to go higher, we expect some sort of reaction here, and expect it to go like this. That is what I want to see the USD Japanese yen do first. So this setup is for the week ahead, and that's USD JPY. So the next one we're going to look at is the CAD JPY. Similar story on Friday. This one has nearly hit 116, which is insane. Zoom out to the monthly charts. Approaching a key monthly level here now. Just mark this. 110 was a hard nut to crack. Once it broke out of 110, you can see there's nothing really stopping this pair once it's broke out of that 110 level to move up to the next levels, which is up towards 117. So if we look at the weekly charts here, weekly chart, huge move on Friday. If we look at the RSI again, similar story. Considerably overbought across all the time frames, right up to the daily chart. If we look at the stochastic, again similar story. All the higher time frames are monthly, weekly, daily, 4 hour, and even right down to the 30 are right at the top of those values. If we look at, see, right outside the band area on the weekly charts, and what I think will happen next week across all these pairs, then maybe Monday, because we have a move, we have a holiday in Japan. This will move up maybe up towards 117, and then we'll get the sell-off down, back down towards old resistance, now new support. So that's what I'll be looking to happen next week. I'll be using my TRFX indicator. I'll be looking for the first sell signal to occur on it next week. See, this pair is considerably overbought. This is a huge parabolic move to the upside. We could just swing right up towards this 117. So it's going to be interesting to see how these yen pairs open up on Friday. Sorry, not Friday, Monday. So, and these are my favorite setups for the week ahead. Selling the USDJPY and selling the CAD Japanese yen. USDJPY will be kind of seeing how the market opens up on Monday, but definitely as we approach that 160 area, I'll be looking to sell the market. So as always, this is how I'm looking to trade the markets. If you want to get access to the TRFX indicator absolutely free, there will be a link in the description area of the video. Just simply all you have to do is follow me on TradingView, and I will give you access to this indicator absolutely free. So you can head over to TradingView also if you want to see written descriptions of how I break down the markets. This is a couple, I post these every single week. One from last week, which was 2 weeks ago, on the USD CAD, kind of moving exactly as expected in this post. So if you want to get a written description, maybe if you can't understand my thick Irish accent, you can head over to TradingView, which there will be a link in the description area, and basically go through my trade ideas and learn how I break down the market. So that's my favorite setups for the week ahead. Hope that this video helps. Let me know in the comments section what you think. Again, I do these videos, I don't edit them, I simply just hit the play button and start recording. So if it doesn't seem a little bit professional, it's just how I analyze the markets and make videos. I don't edit them, it's just basically me hitting record. So Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I shall see you on the next video. Will.